Hi, this is Danny. I am currently in a lockdown situation, as I suppose many people are with this COVID-19 situation. And as terrible as it does present some opportunities to do things that maybe you didn't have the time for before. And one of those for me is working with my eldest son, who is 6 years old, and teaching him how to play the saxophone. And for a lot of people, that can be a thing, like teaching somebody in the family. Well, obviously, we're in a position where we're teaching people in the family everything from maths to English to all sorts of things, but could also include a musical instrument. Um, and for that reason, I wanted to do a little bit of a review and tell you my thoughts on these. The Nuvo Jsax, which is set up for essentially that, teaching kids how to play the saxophone. There are a lot of YouTube videos that start with, particularly with a review of the unboxing of the thing, but essentially it comes in a small compact box, which is, that kind of size, and is easily stored in the house. You don't need to see me opening the box. So the sax comes in three parts. You've got the main body, which has the key work on it, the bell of the instrument, and also the mouthpiece, which has a plastic reed already attached. The first thing I would say about this instrument is the size and the weight of the actual thing itself. For my son, who is 6 years old, it poses no problem to actually just hold this up to his face and actually keep control of the instrument. And there's no weight problems with it. And compared to an alto saxophone, like when I started to learn, and anyone out there that can kind of agree with this, is like it's a large instrument to strap to a younger person's body and hope that they're going to get there with it. The alternative has been for years is that someone learns the clarinet first, and then with time they develop, and if they choose, they make the jump to sax. But for me, why not just start with the sax if that's your instrument of choice? So size and weight wise, this is excellent. So another thing that's great about this instrument is the relationship between an actual sax and the key work on this instrument, and the similarities between the two. So what we have is the first three keys, which obviously for most sax teachers are your first point of call when you're teaching somebody new. They lay absolutely fine and feel, to be honest with you, the same as my alto, despite the size of the instrument. And we have the A flat or G sharp key there. On the back there is no octave key as such, just a hole which the actual manual recommends you come down over from. So when you play and go into the second octave, you just drop your thumb down. You can raise your thumb up, which kind of makes more sense to me because you are inevitably going to put somebody on a real sax and the octave key is above. But that's a minor issue really, to be totally honest with you. And obviously we work right down to the low C as well. The thumb rest is in a good position, and again, to go back to the weight, when my son started with this, he just held the bottom rather than worry about trying to balance it with his thumb. He just held the bottom, and there's no real problem with that. When we bring in the right hand, obviously he'll raise his thumb up to the thumb rest. Now the embouchure, as you can imagine, so the kind of shape of your mouth when you play this instrument, obviously given the size of it, is slightly smaller than what you would find on an alto sax. It's far more like a soprano, to be honest with you. But it isn't a real issue, because obviously what you want to get from this is a good starting point to then progress on to giving somebody an alto sax. And this mouthpiece provides enough of a tool to be able to practice developing the mouth muscles, how to blow properly. So I would say, although it is slightly smaller, it doesn't actually, it doesn't hinder the development of someone's ability to play the sax. So the only other thing is, what does it sound like? And to be honest with you, it's not a bad sound. It sounds more soprano-y, if that's a word, soprano-y. It sounds more like a soprano than anything else. It's quite a nice sound. The only problem is it goes from low C and you work through to your second octave and you get into D, E, F, G, and that's it. It starts to break apart. So you get an octave and a half. Now, to be honest with you, as many people out there who do play sax and do teach the saxophone would probably agree, by the time you've done an octave and a half with an instrument like this, that person is probably ready to then progress on to the alto sax. They probably have enough of an understanding of the instrument to then think, right, it's now time to try the real thing. So I wouldn't say that it's too much of an issue that you only have an octave and a half. It provides enough of a grounding to be able to move on. So this is what it sounds like. Oh, I missed my thumb on the back. Thumb again. So yeah, you can hear as I'm playing there, and I'll keep saying that I'm missing my thumb. It's because as a sax player, or someone that plays a proper sax, you don't come down over. And because the recommendation is in the manual to do that, I'm trying to stick to that. But it's not a problem, it's just I'm doing this in the reverse order. So yeah, it just feels unusual. But I think once you give someone a proper sax and tell them all they've got to do is that, or slightly roll the thumb, it'll take no time whatsoever to kind of relearn that movement. I would recommend this, if I'm honest, if you want to learn or teach, yeah, if you want to teach a child, I would say that this is a great kind of access point for them. I would go so far as to say it's better than getting them a proper sax. It'll give them an idea of what the instrument is like at a much cheaper rate, and it will help them to get the instrument under their fingers quicker than a real sax would. If you're an adult, I would stay away from it. If you're an adult, you probably have the strength in your neck and in your back, and generally you are bigger. You can deal with a real sax. But I will put a link to where I got this from in the description below. And like I say, yeah, for teaching kids, I would recommend it.